day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. It's April 16th. It also happens to be my birthday. Not my belly, my sobriety birthday. It's 9 years today. So I wore my oldest shirt. I think I've had this shirt for like 15 years. You can barely see it. It says Quicksilver. It's comfortable. And we're going to read my favorite passage from the big book. I figure that'd be a nice present to myself. You probably know already. I'm a big fan of the big book. I would probably be considered a big book thumper, but not necessarily in the sense of you have to do it my way. That's usually what big book thumping goes to. I'm not a bleeding deacon. I am, however, an elder statesman. So I have over 20. I now have 21 years of combined sobriety. If I would have stayed sober the first time, it would have been my birthday would have been last year or last month, and I would be at 36 years. Yeah. So it is what it is, man. This program's a day at a time. It'll always be a day at a time. And all we get is a daily reprieve, contingent on our spiritual maintenance. All right. What that means is, see, you have the power of choice first thing in the morning. You have a couple choices. You can either go to God or you can go to the liquor store. And when you decide to go to God, it creates something. It creates new intentions. It creates another path, a road for you to walk down, which is the road of freedom. We got to be a free people, right? We have to be free of the grouch and the brainstorm of anger, overexcitement. There's a lot of things that we need to be free of, but mostly free from the bondage of self. That's mostly where the freedom comes from. Because it is me. I'm the only person that can block the sunlight of the spirit. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I am your host today and forever. So I don't mean to scare you, but yeah, I don't know that anybody's ever going to take over for me. It's not how it works. Should have been, I don't think it's further back. It isn't this close, yeah. Oh, if you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Good morning, Leisure. It is good to see you. I did see those pictures of that jacket. It looks pretty cool, man. I appreciate it. We'll meet up soon. Dear Lord. Yeah, I really should have. All right. I'm going to pull out my old book because this is my sponsoring book. It's a lot more used, which means it's going to more likely open to the page that I'm looking for. Oh, God, I was wrong. There it is. 273. I'm going to be on page 275. This is where I will be reading from. Whew. Turn on the heat so I have a little bit of heat in here, and it's a little too much heat. What's that, jerk face? My cats are in trouble because I tried to sleep in and they made a lot of ruckus this morning. Like their little brains are going to remember shit. Oh, they know they're in trouble. All right. It was probably time for me to get up anyway. Or I wouldn't have made it to do this in time because I got on Wednesdays, I got a few meetings. AA is not a plan for recovery that can be finished and done with. You know, I've met a lot of people in the program that have felt they made it. And you might get that feeling. Today, I'm feeling pretty satisfied with myself, man. I'm proud of myself. I didn't think I was ever going to make it back into this program, let alone put together a few more years again. You know, I had 12 years of sobriety before, but 9 years was about where I decided that I didn't need AA anymore, and things really started to fall apart for me. It'd be 3 years before I had a drink, but I tell you right now, I was an angry cuss. Boy, was I. Probably better than I was drinking, actually. I don't know about that. Alcohol tends to make it worse. So I lived on a dry drunk for the last 3. And it is because I decided I didn't need to go to meetings anymore, that I didn't need to sponsor anymore, that I didn't need to do these things, and I drifted away from the program. And I can tell you now, I will never make that fucking mistake again. I will not make that mistake again. I don't care how much time I have. I will continue. I go to a meeting every day, if not 2 to 3, but I'm in a position to do that. I'm in a position to go to meetings all day. Leisure says, I haven't drank in a while, but I still haven't received a certificate. No. Most we get is chips. It's what we get. You know, it's something, but it can't be overdone. Although it was nice to wake up to a bunch of happy birthdays this morning. I've never really received that. I mean, kind of, yeah, but not in the way it was this morning. So it is a way of life, and the challenge contained in its principles is great enough to keep any human being striving for as long as he lives. Every single step has a principle behind it. Every single step. So when we were talking about the principles, we were talking about the principles of each step. Let's go find out what those are. This is the only reason I keep a copy of Drop the Rock around, because it has the actual list, the real list of, if you go to Google, it's wrong. People want to change it to what they think it is. Okay. And when they do that, well, it isn't good. Step 1, honesty. Step 2, hope. Step 3, faith. Step 4, courage. Step 5, integrity. Step 6, willingness. Step 7, humility. Step 8, brotherly love. Step 9, justice. Step 10, perseverance. Step 11, spiritual awareness. And step 12, service. So those are the principles. And they are enough to keep any human being striving for as long as they live. Yes, even if you came into this program when you were 18 years old or 25, early 30s, yes. For as long as you live, absolutely, these principles will remain in place. There will be things that we work towards. We cannot outgrow this plan. As arrested alcoholics, we must have a program for living that allows for limitless expansion. We can't stop growing. We can't stop growing. I'm 54, okay? I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're still a young buck. Shut the fuck up." No, I'm not. Okay. When you're 54, you go ahead and say that for you. Okay. But if you don't know what it means to be 54 and deal with the constant pains of just waking up, I don't want to hear about it. I got some good years ahead of me still. All right. But I have to have that limitless expansion. I've been talking about perfection a lot. It's the perfection that I use. See, I'm never going to reach the perfection until the day I die. So therefore, it gives me limitless expansion. Good morning, Heather. It is good to see you. If you'd like to follow along, I'm on page 275 in the big book, reading the keys to the kingdom. Just a quick reminder, we have a meeting today at 2:00 if you'd like to join us. So keeping one foot in front of the other is essential for maintaining our arrestment. Others may idle in a retrogressive groove without too much danger, but retrogression can spell death for us. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Usually I can get to a mute button before something like that happens. Leisure says, try being 55. I'm going to try it in about 5 months. September 18th is my belly button birthday. September 18th, 1970 is the day I was born. I was born 4 hours after Jimi Hendrix died. The answer is no. I am not Jimi Hendrix reborn. No, not even close. Right. Well, I might be. Heather says, either one of you want to try 61? See, here I am whining about being 54 when they use my own weapon against me. That's hilarious. Oh, Doobie Brothers are in my head. No, not Doobie Brothers. Bee Gees are in my head. I was listening to How Deep Is Your Love before this. Is your love, is your... I like to listen to calming music in the morning so that I'm not an asshole for the day. Of course, then I listen to Pound Cake by Van Halen. Not really a slow song. Pretty heavy, actually. Anyway, so retrogression can spell death for us. And so, what is that? Well, that way they talk about it, and they say it is easy to let up on the spiritual program and rest on our laurels. It is easy. That is the easy way to do things. All right. People tend to use time. What does that mean? It means that I cannot take success today for yesterday's actions. I must have new successes today. That is the limitless expansion that they are talking about. I need to be growing each day. Sometimes it's going to be a lot, but most of the time it's not even noticeable to me. And then one day I turn around, like this last weekend, I had a calmness I didn't even know that I had. And we realize that we've grown more. It's an amazing process. And if you can stay open-minded, if you can free yourself of all the burdens that you carry, you'll be able to see beauty everywhere you go. I get to see beauty wherever I go, if I choose to be that way that day. See, there's a choice to be made. Yeah. Today, I'm choosing to do whatever Dion wants to. It's my birthday, and I'll do what I want to. You guys know who Howie Mandel is? I know you two do. Right? Okay. It's probably going to freak you out. All right. Remember the cartoon Bobby? Yeah, I know you two do. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Bobby. And I'm
every time my mommy put me in a potty, I'd cry. And one day, she said, Bobby, and I said, what? That's the hardest one to do because he goes really, really high. How come every time I put you in a potty, you cry? And I said, it's my potty, and I'll cry if I want to. Heather might know she's older. Actually, be better off being younger, knowing who that is. All right, let's get back to this now that we've done our little interruption to keep people's attention. That's why we do that. I change the topic and it moves around a lot because I'm keeping your attention, or you ain't gonna listen to me for more than 12 minutes. Those are the things that I know. So anyway, however, this isn't as rough as it sounds, as we do become grateful for the necessity that makes us toe the line, and we find that we are compensated for the consistent effort by the countless dividends we receive. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't receive some sort of dividend from the effort that I have put in. There isn't a day that goes by. This morning, I wasn't up 10 minutes, and it happened. Just because I got 9 years. I go to my phone in our grassroots chat. There's a bunch of happy birthday, Dion. We're so fucking proud of you. Thank you for everything you do. Things like that. I've never been in that position, man. It's new for me. And I was grateful. So right off the bat, I wake up and the dividend is love. That's the life of an alcoholic. See, we're extremists, so where the dividends are either going to be hate or love. Right? And it really depends on what we do. One day you're going to run across a problem and you're going to be able to solve it with ease. You'll just know what to do. And that's what we're talking about. The necessity that makes us toe the line. What is that? It is us understanding that our actions affect other people. So if we put good actions out, then we will affect people in a good way. That's what it means to me. This is my favorite part. And I'm doing what I want to do today, which is usually the same shit I do every Wednesday. I'm not really doing anything different. Leisure said gratitude equals humility. Absolutely, it does. Heather says love wins all the time. Yeah. The Beatles were right. All you need is love. Love's the answer to almost everything in this world. In fact, I haven't really found a problem that doesn't require love. Mostly unconditional love. Unconditional love. I get a lot more done with unconditional love than I do calling people out. I don't really get many dividends from doing that part. No. I might be a little happy with myself because we got something done, but that's going to be about it. All right. Okay. A complete change takes place in our approach to life. Where we used to run from responsibility, we find ourselves accepting it with gratitude that we can successfully shoulder it. This is what I call the Karate Kid of recovery. It's one of the promises. You will suddenly realize that God is doing for you what you could not do for yourself. But in this case, you can thank your sponsor. You can thank your guide. You can thank the people in the program that taught you these skills. And how do you learn a skill? You learn a skill by doing it over and over and over and over and over again. That's why the fourth and fifth step are so repetitive. Almost every time the sponsee comes to me, I'm just repeating myself. Yep, you sure are. Insanity, isn't it? You're right on the road. If you just figured out that you're doing the same shit over and over again, expecting a different result, then you're catching it. Right? That's what it's about. And we accept it with gratitude. We're grateful that we have these problems because we know how to handle them. Finally. And it's almost a relief. But it goes beyond that, my friends. Those people around you that are watching you, your kids, your grandkids, your significant other, people in your sewing circle or in your gaming circle, they will notice that you have changed. And if they are the type of people that want a better life, they will follow you. Alcoholic or not, they will follow you. Instead of wanting to escape some perplexing problem, we experience the thrill. Yep. What does that mean? We get a high out of it. But it's the high that we need. Okay? Go back to the doctor's opinion. Alcoholics drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. Okay? And they will be restless, irritable, and a jerk, because I don't remember the next word, until they can again find something that gives them the ease and comfort. There it is. The fact that we're facing it gives us ease and comfort. Why is that? Because we have found courage. We have found courage in a higher power who has shown us the way. We have trust in the program. We actually have trust, and no, this is a big one, in ourselves that we can do this. That's where hope comes from. Hope for other people. That's what makes you depth and weight to help somebody else get sober. It affords for another application of AA techniques, and we find ourselves tackling it with surprising vigor. In other words, something in us we didn't know that we had. I mean, our higher power is an inner resource. It comes from within. I cannot stress enough how much a higher power is personal. To me, it was probably the most personal thing in this world that ever happened to me. The last 15 years of my life have been rich and meaningful. I've had my share of problems, heartaches, and disappointments because that is life. The world doesn't stop having problems because I quit drinking. No, we deal with problems all the time. That's part of life. It's what we do with these problems now. Yeah, it's what we do. As a lot of you know, I'm working on some things on getting rid of what I call the recovery bullies, right? Okay, that's like 10% of everything. Otherwise, what I do is I'm proactive. Finally, a friend wrote me yesterday. I was looking for something. They wrote me, and finally somebody said, "What about the clients? What about the people that are going to fall through the cracks?" All right, see, that's the difference. What's going to happen to those people? That's my only concern. See, it's different. They can either whine about how all the money's gone, or you can do something about it. And if you do something about it and you're proactive, then what happens is then you are compensated for the countless effort you are compensated for the consistent effort by the countless dividends you receive. But if you're whining about no money, no dividends, you already got your dividend. It's money. Quit picking your dividends. Let God decide your dividends. Do not determine your worth Let God determine your worth. It's much better. I will fall very short if I try and determine my worth. I've had my share of problems because that is life, but also I've known a great deal of joy and a peace that is a handmaiden of an inner freedom. And this is where true freedom is, inside. For a long time, I tried to create safe spaces, and I can't. I cannot make them. I can make it as safe as possible. Absolutely, I can. But only you can create your safe space. Only you can do it. And you have to do it through an inner freedom. Because when I rely on other people to create my safe space, it turns into demands. Oh, you must call me this. You must treat me this way. You must. Nope. We don't go for that. I will love you for who you are, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to accept your demands. And there's a very, very clear picture between a request and a demand, right? It's the only way to inner freedom that I found, right? So in inner freedom, I have a wealth of friends, and with my AA friends, an unusual quality of fellowship. It's unusual because it hasn't happened before. Because I'll meet an alcoholic and I'll just feel tied to them. They don't even need to say anything. I just feel tied to them. We are connected. What a great thing for a set of lonely people. What a great thing for a set of lonely people. I'll put away that pocketbook. There's more. For these people, I am truly related. I have 8 brothers and sisters. I'll talk to any of them. I got well over 20 aunts and uncles, hundreds of cousins. None. Because I am not related to them. I would have to say, but don't get that wrong. I get along very well with my mother. It's the only one that counts. And I've got a couple aunts that I really like. Wendy and which is on my dad's side, and my Aunt Amber. I tell them both that they're my favorite auntie on that side of the family. Why? Because my family, and of course my wife and my kids, my grandkids, the people that I am truly related to, the people that have the same fucked up thinking as me, are in AA. That's where they are. I was at a meeting yesterday, and they were talking on Tradition 3, and people were bringing up, yeah, well, I do drugs, but they talk about their alcoholism while they're in that meeting, and it's about arenas, right? See? What is that? That's a sacrifice of the need to talk about something so you can be a part of a whole, so that you can have your unusual quality of fellowship and be truly related to these people. That's why. First through mutual pain and despair, and later through mutual objectives and newfound faith and hope. What is that? Number 1, we quit drinking. 30 days, 1,000 nights. Only alcoholics and drug addicts understand that. People that it takes 30 days to detox from bullshit, right? Those first 30 days, man, they drug on. And the weird thing is the older you get, the faster it goes until it comes to that 30 days. And then it comes to a screeching fucking halt. And you understand that. I don't even need to try and explain it. Isn't that nice? Isn't that's comfort? And we need comfort. We need to be comforted. We've been abused all of our fucking lives. Nobody hugged us. We fucking stunk. Now everywhere I go, everybody wants a hug. All right. And then through mutual objectives, we have mutual objectives to help as many alcoholics as we can. It is our primary purpose to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. That's it. And that binds us together. That in and of itself is all that's needed to bind us together, because then we have 2, 3, 4 people doing what is best for the newcomer. And that adds up pretty darn quickly. It does. And as the years go by, working together, sharing our experiences with one another, and also sharing a mutual trust, understanding, and love without strings, without obligations, we acquire relationships that are unique and priceless. Morning, Amber. Amber says, birthday boy. And I have to go help 9 alcoholics today. That's a low number for me, Amber. Are you going to make it a challenge? I'm already 3 in. And whoever else is listening to this eventually, and it'll be downloaded. By downloads, I'll be going to a couple meetings, but I appreciate that. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, with the years that you have, it used to be the running joke was, so now somebody would come up to me and say, the 10th year is the hardest, just so you know. Then it's the 11th year's the hardest, then the 12th. It's just a running joke, right? Without love, without strings, without obligation. That's just, we love each other unconditionally, or at least we do our best. Doesn't always happen. That's okay. You're not perfect. Just don't beat up on yourself and get back to what it is that you were doing. That's it. God save me from being angry. Give me another thought process, and then go help another alcoholic. And they are unique and priceless. I don't know. I can't think of a better way to describe it. I don't have the words. I don't have the words for how I feel about my friends. Gratitude, unique, priceless. I can't describe it. There is no more aloneness with that awful ache so deep in the heart of every alcoholic that before could never reach it. That ache is gone and never need return again. It has been a long time since I had that God-sized hole in my stomach. A very long time. But I haven't forgotten it. I have not forgotten it. Why have I not forgotten it? Because I see a lot of newcomers, and every time I listen to a newcomer, especially when they're being transparent, that feeling comes back a little bit. I'm reminded of it. And it reminds me that it does not work out there, that I could go back to that loneliness in a matter of minutes just by taking a few drinks with impunity. That's all it would take. And that loneliness would appear immediately. From at that point, then I would be separated from my friends. I would be separated from my family. And I made that mistake before, and it will never, ever happen again. I know I can't make that promise. I know. It's a day at a time. At the same time, me thinking that I'll never drink again doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I would prefer not to ever drink again. I really would. I have no desire for alcohol. Isn't that great? Because now there is a sense of belonging, of being wanted and needed and loved. I've been feeling that this morning. Woke up, all these happy birthdays and grassroots, and, Amber, doing stuff for me. Leisure saying, I got a shirt for you. People showing up. I like what you do. We're proud of you. These are big things for Dion. They really are. Now, it took me a long time to start to accept compliments. Somebody give me a compliment, I'd be like, yeah, but and that wasn't humility. That was self-pity. Like I wasn't worthy of God's love. I'm glad I was wrong. Now I'm wanted and needed and loved. Leisure said, oh my God, a shot of alcohol right now would make me hurl. Yep, kitty cat's here. It's because you can't go in the sunroom right now, huh? He's like, are you mad at me, Dad? That's all they're wondering. They're just wondering if I'm mad at them. And I kind of am. Go ahead. Go. Go. I'm not really mad at them. They just got to be punished for waking me up 5 million times. All right. Because they were being kitty cats. That and there's cat food in the sunroom and I haven't taken it out yet. That's mostly the reason. I'm doing that next. I'll do it during the 10 o'clock meeting. In a return for a bottle and a hangover, we have been given the keys to the kingdom. And what are keys to the kingdom? It's the internal freedom. It is the internal freedom that we receive for the work that we do. So, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap up and head to a 10 o'clock meeting. And I don't want to be late because they know it's my birthday and I don't want to be rude and stuff. And so, I'm sure I'll be back later. I don't know. I'm not even awake yet. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.